our teams tonight. And so top of next hour, I will be drafting with Chris Broussard, my all-star teams. All right. So the Jets general manager, Joe Douglas, said yesterday, I'm taking calls on Sam Darnold. So they put the house up for sale, and we know which house. Not the pick, but Sam. That's good news for Sam because 3 or 4 teams that need a quarterback are New England, San Francisco's interested, Washington and Chicago were playoff teams. So sometimes you get lucky. The bad teams are going to draft a quarterback, and some good teams, playoff teams, or close to it, are probably in the Darnold sweepstakes. So that's good for Sam Darnold. This is going to be a win for Sam Darnold. I mean, there are years when it's only bad teams that need quarterbacks. The bad teams, Jets are now going to take a quarterback. Jags are going to take a quarterback. Carolina's probably going to move up and take a quarterback. Philadelphia, which now classifies as a bad team, they may take a quarterback. But the Niners, Washington, Chicago, those are good rosters. New England's going to be very good next year, at least defensively. If they could add like a free agent wide receiver, you got a team. So here's the scary part if you're the Jets drafting Zach Wilson. Regardless of what you think of him, I'm not a scout. I think he's a little overstated, a little skinny for me, couldn't beat good teams in college. Regardless, if you go back the last 10 to 15 years, there's a pattern. The first 2 quarterbacks taken, one of them doesn't work. Almost always. Last year, Burrow and Tua. Burrow is going to be really good. Miami's already got issues with Tua. Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones. Kyler's a star. Daniel Jones on the fence. They could bail on him by Thanksgiving this year. Baker and Darnold. Baker's won a playoff game. Darnold is a reclamation project. Trubisky, Mahomes, enough said. Goff and Wentz, neither's a bust, but you're paying both a lot, and neither one probably right now is worth the lettuce. Jameis Winston, Mariota, neither a star. Jameis really did, in the end, felt like a bust. Bortles, Manziel. Bortles got to a playoff. Johnny was out of the league in a couple. E.J. Manuel, only quarterback drafted in 2013, bust. Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin, star bust. Cam Jake Locker, star bust. Bradford Tebow, successful bust. Stafford Sanchez, pretty good, not very good. This is the reality of the NFL. And in every instance that I can recall, this is what happens. Because I believe Trevor Lawrence is a prodigy. I believe Zach Wilson is a project. I believe you get child prodigies, Bryce Harper. You get him in music. You get him in entertainment. And when I say child, I'm talking 15 to 19 years old. You're just different than everybody. Trevor Lawrence, as a freshman, Nick Saban had 6 weeks to prepare and could not stop him. As a freshman. Zach Wilson didn't play well until this past year. He wasn't very good as a freshman and sophomore. One is a quarterback prospect. One's a prodigy. LeBron was a prodigy. Bryce Harper's a prodigy. You see him in music, entertainment all the time. Not all the time, but you see him. And what you see, and this happens a lot, and I'm starting to hear it, a month or 2 before the draft, people start saying stuff like this. RG3 is actually better than Andrew Luck. Zach Wilson is actually better than Trevor Lawrence. Of course, this is not true. But what you do, all of a sudden people, because they've nitpicked the prodigy or the star, and with Zach Wilson, it's more about, well, he's better than we thought. People start claiming the 2 is better than the 1. I saw that with Andrew Luck and RG3. I am seeing that now with Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. So history tells you Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are going to go 1-2. One of them ain't going to work. And by the way, you tell me the last time a Jets quarterback truly worked. Joe Namath. Alex Curry with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Well, the Browns have no doubt that Baker Mayfield will be their quarterback next season. They have until May 3rd to pick up his 5th-year option. And while GM Andrew Berry wouldn't reveal the team's plan, he did express that they do have faith in Baker as their starter.
The quarterback position is, in my mind, the most important position in professional sports. We've been pretty consistent with our messaging around Baker that we think he had a really strong season for us. We like the maturation and the growth both on and off the field. and we're looking forward to him continuing to take steps his second year in the offense.
All right, there you go. That's right. Okay, good. I don't have any negative thoughts on Baker this morning. I don't like to be marginalized as a hater. So let's just take those steps, Baker, and get better. And I've got no opinion.
I'm a big Baker fan here. He figured out a way to win. He's had 4 different coaches in 3 years.
True.
And then obviously this past season, he got the Browns to the postseason for the first time in 18 years and their first playoff win in 26 years. Yep. And you have to remember, leading into that playoff game, they were a COVID mess. Yeah. They weren't able to practice that week. They didn't have their head coach. And he somehow, everything was against them. And they were playing back-to-back Steelers Big Ben this time. And he figured out a way to win, and he got it done.
I predicted they were going to make the playoffs. I am not anti-Baker. I'm trying to end that. I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year, and I think Baker will be fine. I just think the AFC is getting much, much better.
I'll tip you on that one. But yes, Baker fan over here. Let's move on to the Raiders, because the Raiders have been mentioned in quarterback trade rumors this offseason, but GM Mike Mayock is standing by Derek Carr and singing the praises of his quarterback. Take a listen.
I think Derek Carr has earned a lot of respect around this league from an awful lot of people. I think Derek Carr had his best year yet under John Gruden. I think he's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, and we couldn't be happier with him. John and I would both stand shoulder to shoulder and pound the table for Derek Carr.
I know people are cynical, but I do believe, if you look at the last 2 years, I do believe John Gruden's come to terms with Derek Carr. Now, I don't think he loves that Mahomes and Justin Herbert are probably more naturally gifted, bigger, stronger guys with better arms. But again, we never thought Brady had the best arm or Montana the best arm. If you're a Raider fan today and Derek Carr in your world is the issue, then I think you don't really understand the Raiders' problems. Derek Carr is not. He is the life preserver the last 2 years. He's not sinking the boat. He's saving it.
And with all the quarterback roulette that's going on right now, I think this is important for Derek Carr to hear this and have the support and know that the team is backing him and behind him. Because again, when you have the support and that you know that you have that and mentally you're going into a season feeling comfortable, it completely changes your game.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. All right. James Harden returned to Houston last night for the first time since being traded to the Nets. He led the way with another triple-double, scoring 29 points with 10 rebounds and 14 assists in the 132-114 win over his former team. Harden drew a mixed reaction of both cheers and boos during his pregame introduction. And after a tribute video played, and after the game, he said, "I just want to give them a show." Now, we knew this was going to be kind of a mixed reaction with Harden coming home. He had a messy way of leaving the team, but he still gives so much